Hello, everybody, and welcome to another one in my series, Breaking Down Barriers. My name is Chris Igwe, and these videos are inspired by my book, Breaking Down Barriers, my journey from a small African village to the world stage, that world stage being whatever you want it to be. Over a short period of time together, I take you through a particular chapter, give you my insights and knowledge, and we share together, and hopefully it resonates with you in terms of some of my findings. This chapter is entitled, Be Generous, Even If You Don't Want to Be. Be generous, even if you don't want to be. And why did I come up with that as a chapter and as an idea? Well, on the one hand, we could be talking about being generous financially, whether it's charity giving, whether it's supporting those in need, whether it's scholarships, whether it's education, for other people, not necessarily your own children. So when I talk about being generous, even if you don't want to, it's perhaps in situations where I just want you to think and bear in mind that there are others whose needs are far greater than yours. There will always be people who are better off than you are, people who are worse off than you are, people who have more than you do, people who have less than you do. I just want you to get into a mindset of thinking to yourself, what does generosity mean? Am I generous? Am I generous as an individual? Let's delve into that for a minute. Now, inevitably, this could be anything from, like I say, financial, if you want it to be, that's okay. But it could also be, and what I want to spend more time talking about is the generosity of your time, the generosity of your thought, the generosity of your attitude, a generosity that leads to kindness, caring, support, all those things that actually require time, because that is one of the big consequences of this generosity. It takes your time that you may not wish to or may not be able to give to someone else or to something else. I don't know, it could be anything and many things. But what I do is I ask you the question, what does generosity mean for you? Are you being generous? Can you be generous? Maybe it's not your natural instinct to be generous. Now, I spend a lot of time, for example, and have done coaching and mentoring and giving people that support in many different ways and in many different cultures and over the years. And as I've got busier, it's more difficult to support people in coaching or mentoring, although I still have that. And as an example, somebody said to me the other day, would you mind, and I know the person, would you mind just giving me half an hour of your time? I'm in transition, leaving my company, moving to another one, but I don't know where, I don't know what. Should I be independent? Should I run my own business? Should I be part of another business? Should I look for another job? And I did so. At the end, the person said, my insights were fantastic, really appreciated it, would love to be mentored by me or coached, but didn't think that he could afford my fees. I chuckled. We didn't get into it. I just chuckled because it wasn't, if he really wanted, that would be a conversation we could have. But my point is that in the world in which we live in, your time will always be requested to give somebody a helping hand, to help them up from wherever they are. And I do my best within that. I get lots of requests. I'm very honored, I'm very privileged. For those who see where I am, where I've got to, where I'm going, like the combination of what I do, like the achievements that I've had, and they want to tap into some of that, to aspire to that. And I'm more than happy where I can, and if I can, to support in doing that. That said, jokingly, but with some realism as well, please don't solicit me for lots of opportunities to coach or mentor you. There are other people out there who do that for a living, and I'm very selective at the moment. I have many requests, and we'll see how that goes. But for the moment, I just want you to take this away as a thought of what is it that you can do for somebody else? How can you support them in their journey? Because we all need support. People are laid off their work. They don't know what to do next. Families that are struggling or challenged by their children, by schooling, by education, by where they live. Lots of different things. I'm saying be generous, even if you don't want it, or even if you don't want to be generous, because there are those who are hurting out there. And as I do in the book, there are different stories I give and share to give you some illumination around what that might look like. And the one I want to share today, which is not in the book, it's a different story. But I guess about 2 years ago, when my daughter was returning to London from Paris, taking the Eurostar, which is the train, this high-speed train that goes under the Channel Tunnel. And I was there at the Paris train station. I noticed this lady who, probably about 80 years old. And I saw her talking to the Eurostar staff at the time. Clearly she was not getting where she wanted to be. And I was heading back because I had a really important Zoom call to take. And I just thought, well, I'll go up to her and just ask if I could help. Maybe it was just a case of she doesn't speak, not much English anyway, but certainly didn't speak French. Went over to help her. And it transpired, this was just after COVID, as we were coming out of COVID. So we still had these documents that we had to get and provide. And she was from Argentina, traveling from Paris to London to meet up with her husband who was in London. And she missed one particular document. She didn't have WhatsApp. She didn't have an ability to communicate with her daughter. So I stepped in and I said, okay, give me your daughter's number. Got it. I called her daughter, asked her daughter who has the document. The daughter said the son had it, her brother had it. So she got it from her brother, WhatsApped it to me. I got the document. However, the Eurostar staff wanted it as a hard copy. A hard copy. What do you do in the middle of a busy train station? How do you get that? I went up to a Eurostar person, asked him if he would be so kind as to accept this as the document for the lady. He wasn't having it. It had to be a hard copy. So I said, look, this poor old lady, she's 80 years old because she told me her age. She doesn't speak much French, doesn't speak much English. What can we do to help her? So I said, why don't we just if you give me your mobile number, which I promise I will delete after you've given it to me, I will send the document to you. You go to your office and print it out. Reluctantly, he agreed to do so. And eventually I said, look, imagine this was your mum or somebody you cared about. She's lost in this country. She needs to get to London. Please have some compassion and help her through this process. He did, got the documentation. She left. I had to head back. I knew she was being taken care of. I phoned later on her daughter just to check that her mum had arrived okay. She didn't take the train she was due to be on, but she got a later train and all was good. I had an important Zoom call that I had to make, but for me, there was nothing more important at that moment in time than helping this lady who needed support, needed a helping hand, needed just someone to put their arms around her. And she gave me the biggest hug you can ever imagine for just being there for her in that moment. What is the moment in which you can help somebody in need? You might have to go out of your way. You might have to inconvenience yourself, but that's okay, because think of the joy that you give that person and think of the joy and satisfaction, to be honest, that you get as a result of it as well. So I hope this has resonated with you. Please feel free to like, share, and of course, comment in any way, shape or form that you feel. But please, please, please consider being generous, even if you don't want it and even if you don't feel like it. Those are the moments when it is so much more valuable to the person who is receiving it. And you will feel great satisfaction as well afterwards. I look forward to speaking to you in the next video. And in the meantime, I wish you all the best. Thank you.